When we perceive something, it becomes our reality, because what we believe is ultimately our reality. Does that make sense? And so, for example, if you're currently right now saying like, hey man, I'm gonna do this once this happens, and you accept it, then that can actually become your anchor, because you are waiting. In all reality, you're just simply waiting. So in other words, like, hey man, I'm gonna be a millionaire once this happens, or I'm gonna get this girl once this happens, or I'm gonna be a top producer once this happens. And when you accept that and you don't actually take part on it and move on it, right? Let me back up. Like, acceptance sometimes can become an anchor, and most of the time it is. Acceptance of an excuse is what I mean. Whereas acceptance of what your reality is, that's actually a good thing, right? Because you need to identify and become self-aware so that you can accept that your flaw, or that your reason for using it as an excuse, is ultimately what's holding you back. So that is a good acceptance. You see, there's two, there's a sub acceptance, I guess. There's an addendum. But what I'm getting at is I wanted to relate to everyone, because a lot of times we accept the excuse as to why we're not yet getting that one thing. And when we do this exercise and we really think it out and say, man, let me try it, man. Let me just listen to D. Let's see if this actually works. You could write it out on paper. You could just put some thought to it. When you fill in those blanks, the absolute most important thing that you can do is make sure you're speaking from the heart. Make sure you say what's natural to you, not what you think I want to hear, not what you think your friend, your mom, your dad, your guardians, your grandma, not your grandpa, whoever it is that you want to impress, whoever it is that you want to be cool to. You're not talking to them. You're talking to yourself. See, what happens when you talk to yourself is that there's this thing called self-awareness. And self-awareness is that one thing, what I believe is your authentic self. Your authentic self is like when you go to bed at night and you're thinking to yourself, like those thoughts, that's your authentic self, because you're not fronting on nobody. You have no reason to be inauthentic. You're not trying to impress nobody. You're not trying to, be fake or win someone's appreciation or anything like that. So you're being with yourself. You're in your head at that time. And that's going to be your most authentic self. So maybe you could do this exercise tonight, but I invite you to do this exercise, because when you figure out what those two blanks are, that's going to help you get to where you're trying to go. And I'm not saying that, you're accepting the excuse as to why you're not reaching your destination. But what I am saying is that there are a lot of us who are not reaching our destination because we're accepting that excuse, because we're waiting.